What's up everyone? Ventrua back with day 2 update. Mostly gonna talk about Sanctum because I have a lot of repeating questions about how Sanctum works, what the rewards are, how should I farm it, what is good to farm it, tips and tricks and whatnot. So I'm gonna go over it quite in depth. And then at the end of the day, or at the end of the video, I will do a quick recap of the character, but there's not much change since yesterday, as you will see. So let's start with Sanctum. So the first one, the rewards are basically the same as they were in Sanctum League. The only exception is that Lycia, the final boss, has to be fought in the final form, the one where you do the storm dodging and whatnot. And 2, she doesn't drop a unique, she drops a unique relic. And the only way to get her uniques is having a unique relic with a text that says like Lycia drops Balance of Terror, Lycia drops Sandstorm Visage. So that's how you obtain Sanctum uniques. But they don't drop from her directly. When it comes to currency, the currency rewards are literally the same as they were in Sanctum League, except you don't get stacked decks anymore. That's the only difference, which it's probably a downside, but at the same time it means more divines, so it probably evens out quite okay. Speaking of currency reward, I want to talk about level of the Sanctum. The level of the Sanctum doesn't seem to matter for divines. I don't have enough evidence on this, but I was getting divines on any area level Sanctum. You can see the Forbidden Tome has an area level, and it also goes up 1 level per each floor. So if you start Forbidden Tome level 70, next floor is going to be 71, 72, 73. So even though it doesn't affect divines, it does affect the amount of smaller currency you get offered. So for example, in a tome like this, level 70, you would get offered like 8C at the end of the Sanctum or 6C. But in like Forbidden Tome, I level 81 plus, I think, or 80 plus it is, you get offered 14 kills, I think. And you also get offered Sextants in the high level tomes, which in hardcore are not as good, but in softcore getting offered 16 Sextants at once, I mean, that's probably close to it, close to divine. I don't know what your prices are, guys, but I would suggest running high level Sanctums if you can handle it, but be warned that they are very, very difficult, at least compared to how Sanctum used to be. And even low level Sanctums are really profitable, so if your build cannot do high level Sanctums and you want to run Sanctum, just don't feel bad about running like zone level 70, zone level 75, like it's still really, really profitable. But let's give some tips about how to handle Sanctum without failing it as much as possible. Because I have failed some Sanctums yesterday. I finished like 15, I think I failed like 2 or 3. It's definitely failable now, because you cannot cheese everything with inspiration, or yeah, inspiration per affliction. So you gotta build your relics and your boons differently. So what I recommend is, let me check if I can show this real quick. The relics I think are the best right now are the relics that give you resolve per boss skill or per fountain use. I think boss skill is better because it doesn't force you to go into fountain. Meanwhile, fountain, like it makes you go out into as many fountains as possible, right? But boss skills you get from the boss at the end of the floor and the bosses in the middle of the floor. And you get double value from floor 2 because there are 2 bosses. So I have found gaining maximum resolve on boss skill the strongest single stat on all my relics. So I try to prioritize that one. Resolve on fountain is good, and then everything else is kind of whatever. But I highly suggest playing resolve based in the current version of Sanctum. The inspiration stuff has been nerfed heavily, and I don't think it's the play anymore. You can also buy relics, but from what I've been told, they are not really being listed much, so you gotta hope people start listing them. Oh yeah, I wanna go quickly over defenses of Sanctum that they added this league. So Elemental Aegis, or Resolve Aegis, you get 1 per 100 ES you have. That works if you have Eldritch Battery too. This seems really strong. Like hybrid builds that have some ES, I think this is stronger than it looks on the first look. I've had afflictions that disable it, and it was very noticeable. So ideally, if you're planning a build that runs a lot of Sanctum, having some ES is good. I don't think you need to have like 2000 ES because there's limit to how much you can block with this, only up to 50%. But having some ES seems very strong. Chance to evade seems really strong at low values. Like, look at my rating, right? I have 1600 evasion and I get 10% chance to evade. But when I equip my grace, it only goes to, oh, it doesn't show here, but it is like 11k evasion and it only went to 18% chance to evade. So it doesn't seem that good. And then armor, I have, how much armor is my character? 10,000 armor is about 17% mitigation from enemy hits. Pretty solid. So what I do is I drop grace for my Sanctum rounds because I feel like it's just not worth scaling. And I run haste in its place. I also drop Tempest Shield and Defiance Banner for skitter bots. I do keep Determination. You could, if your build scales with an extra damage aura, you could also drop Determination for an extra damage aura. It's definitely not bad, but I do find Determination actually worth running. I tried to figure out what I could run instead, like run Permanent Malevolence and just not run Divine Blessing or something, but I found Determination actually quite decent. Like this 17% mitigation is very noticeable. So what builds are actually good for Sanctum? Well, you have to be able to clear it, and you have to be able to kill the final boss. So you have to build some defense, because at this point of the league, it will be pretty hard to just insta-kill the boss before she does the storm phase. So the builds I would recommend are SRS, Guardian, Necro, Scion, whatever you want to play. That build was good in Sanctum League, it's gonna be good this league. Hexblast Mines. DD is okay, but I think Maw of Mischief would probably be better than DD. Another tip that I would like to give is tips for Lycia fight, because I almost died to that fight yesterday. I went down to like 400 life. So what I found to be the strongest is running Tempest Shield for shock immunity spellblock, because all her like lightning storms are spells. You could also run Purity of Lightning, which I probably should consider instead of one of my auras, but the main thing that I want to talk about is running a lot of flasks. I usually run 4 life flask setup just to be able to spam through the lightning storms, but most importantly is increased effect Topaz Flask. This flask single-handedly carries the fight super hard. This is not even rolled well enough. You could roll it even better. I just wanted multiple uses in case I get 2 storm phases, which sometimes happen during unique relic runs. But yeah, I highly recommend running an increased effect Topaz Flask for Lycia fight. It makes it a lot more manageable, and it should guarantee you getting the rewards most of the time, even if your build is not that tanky. I hope I didn't forget much, and I hope these tips help you with clearing Sanctum in the future. I'm quickly gonna go over my character update now, as I plan to do that every day. But as you can see, if you watched the video yesterday, not much has changed on the character. Pretty much the only big difference is I actually got my 6 in Cloak of Flame. Took about 300 fusings in total. I actually was gonna be like, I can't be bothered. I was gonna settle for a 5-link again, but then I managed to hit 6-link before 5-linking it. And I still don't know if I'm gonna go for full suppression gear and upgrade my gear to actually play this character further, or if I'm just gonna reroll my next build soon. The build that I'm planning to reroll is probably gonna be Hexblast Mines though, because I found my own Sensor Visage yesterday and I'm probably just gonna end up using it. And I have some video on hit jewels for it too, but I wanted to talk about how much I earned yesterday, because that's the only thing that really has changed, right? So when you look at the current setup, I mean, the divine number is slightly higher than yesterday, but it's not that impressive, right? For farming Sanctum for 14 hours. But we also got this thing. So yeah, yesterday, hopefully by now you saw all the highlight clips of me just clicking Sanctum chests and getting exploded by divines, chaos, sextants, and everything. That's the current update. But I'm probably playing DD for 1 or 2 more days, and then it's probably Trickster Head plus time. I was also thinking of playing Arc Elementalist Ignite to farm some legions, but I don't really want to play another Elementalist right now. So I'll probably delay that build for later. Make sure to tune in for daily updates, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.